going to nightclubs in this day and age is not advisable. Now, I love places that have music and dancing and things like that. But what happens in these places is that the sludge of humanity starts to gather there. It is all illusory. It is all a bunch of bullshit. And it all stems from the fact that people don't know how to have a good time. If people really had a good time and wanted to have a good time, dancing and music would be available day and night, not just night. So going into a nightclub, you don't even know what's going to be there, what kind of energy is there. It could be anything. It could be any horror of horrors. Generally, it's vampiric energy that resides there, that goes there. They're just trying to slurp up your energy, and it can happen in any way. They are not places where people who are it will lower your vibration basically because of all the negativity that's around. I know it sounds strange that you don't think that negative energy would be there, but it does. All the insecurities, the fears, the horrors, the pretends, the delusions, and things like that all gather at nightclubs. Now, it wasn't like that before. You can see sometimes people talk about how they wish it was like the 50s nightclubs where it was just different. I know people smoked in those kinds of places and they had different types of more of a different vibe. But now it's just a bunch of people, scary people, really hoarding together, like in groups, going to these places, dancing, and then coming home wasted at 4 or 5 in the morning. Absolutely horrific. Nothing to do with having fun. The music is deafening and sick. It's horrific. I don't want to be having my ears popping while people are screaming in my ears. That is not a nightclub. I really thought that it's important to do a video on this topic, only because people just don't know how to have a good time anymore, and because this reflects spirituality like everything else does. Politics, economics, everything is spiritual. Nothing is left out of this. So basically, I'm looking at, when you go to these places, you are looking at possibly being vampired again, having vampires around you, people who are sucking up your energies. Even though you think that you're in perfect control of it, it does screw up the whole energetic body. It takes you like a day or two to recover from it. So basically the whole structure needs to change. Obviously it won't, because people are all fucked up. So naturally, in order to get different types of nightclubs, different types of atmospheres, people need to change themselves and demand a higher quality of entertainment. As it is right now, nightclubs, really, if they were up to me, I would shut them down. They're all just really places that harbor negativity, places to pass around drugs and cheap sex and things like that. I mean, and most of it is just women in groups. And that happens an awful lot. So for me, it doesn't make any sense. You don't do anything when you're there. People are not really vibrant, so their energy is really poor. They just go, and you don't really know how to have a good time. So what they should be like, they should be classier music. They should be lower in volume. There should be, I'm not against alcohol. Definitely not. It should be more relaxed in that capacity. I'm not really for getting drunk. I don't understand what the reason would be for it. But I really think that we should bring back the classy nightclubs and see how improve the relationships between the sexes, because right now it's so poor, and there's a fantasy because of the rap music and because of the videos and music videos that a nightclub is some sort of like romantic or some sort of fun place. It's not. And I would advise those kinds of places you should never go to them. I have gone before to places where There are outdoor settings with more family or community gatherings where people dance. I'm Greek, so obviously they do dance in circles, so, and they include everybody. So in these beautiful places where I used to live, the back of community centers or churches would be transformed into places where people could dance, sing the night away. They can buy some food for cheap and drink some beer and dance underneath the moonlight. It's more fun, it's more exciting. When you dance in circles, you link hands, so creates a more of a community feeling, and this is what we're looking for. It's better than a nightclub, it's more fulfilling, and you certainly don't have the same vampiric shit that goes on in nightclubs, which are raw, they're violent, they're horrific, they're just places, vile places, worse than jail. Because once you're in there, you have to adhere to certain standards. You go through all the trouble of dressing up for I don't know what reason. And it's just a stupid setting. And for me, they're outdated. And they really need to start making them. And also, why is there so much darkness? Shouldn't they be more in the light so people can see each other and be able to talk and engage in nightclubs? I just don't get it. So for me, this is just a poor example of people who just don't know how to have a good time.